morning. Come to the temple, bathe in the presence of love. Let go of the warring, lay down your sword. You've had enough. For I know you're weary, the battle has taken its toll. Illusion is shattering, the veil is rent. You're whole. So come to the fire and lay down the shame of the past. The blaze purifying, revealing your golden last. For you hold the keys now, unlocking your shackles and chains. No longer a prisoner, you are now free and reclaimed. You're reclaimed. Surrender to my love and trust that you're enough. Allow yourself to breathe and remember, 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 oh remember, remember, remember who you are. So come to the mystery and give up the stories you know. The path now collapsing, leading us all back to one. No longer divided, the fractals united in peace. And it's time to play now like children of love's destiny, destiny. Surrender to my love and trust that you're enough. Allow yourself to breathe and remember, remember, remember who you are, who you are. You are the light of the world. You are the joy of the earth, and you are the love of your life. So remember, so remember, so remember, 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 oh remember, 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 oh remember, remember, remember. Can you sing that? Remember, oh remember, 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 oh So remember.
How blessed we are to have Heather Powers with us today and her husband, Jason. Yes, and welcome to each of you. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, and we are the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. We have a song that's going to help get us all in the mood and ready for the morning. The song that Heather just sang, an original, Remember, is setting us up for our service this morning, of really moving into that state of remembrance of who we are and the power that we're imbued with. So the next song that she's going to sing, which we all know and love, and I invite you all to get on your feet and participate, is I Release and I Let Go by the Byers-Beckwith family.
Yes, I love it. This one's a little bit slower of a version, but then we're going to kick it up. And I know that you guys are ready to sing, yeah? Yes? Yeah, okay.
They said yes.
Okay,
Sometimes
I
their
trust
audible
it.
is muted, but they said yes.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. And now, if you are discouraged, trying just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go. Let it all go. And this is what you gotta say. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. Oh, no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light, and I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I'm free. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. 'Cause there was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. I didn't know the grace of God. The grace of God is sufficient, and the love of God is always at hand. So now, if you are discouraged, just trying to make it through another day, right here, right now, we've got to let it go. And we let it all go. We've got to let it go. We let it all go. We've got to let it go. We let it all go. 'Cause love is here to stay.
I'm sure many of you are much like me, where you have had those moments in your life where you were struggling or in strife and you couldn't see the light, and you had to internally trust that you needed to let it go, and in letting it go, that the Spirit, that essence of life, no matter what you call it, is there waiting to carry us into the next expression of what it is. Our whole theme this morning is really going to be about turning within and opening up to a new way of looking at life, a new way of committing to life, a new way of being life on this planet, not judging anything from before and not setting up great expectations of what's to come, but just choosing to be in the presence. We're a community known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and a hello to those of you here in the room and those watching on Zoom and on YouTube. We've come together for a little over 30 years now to celebrate that power within. The vision statement for our community when it first came to be almost 35 years ago now was making a difference. And I truly believe that the intent behind that message, even though I was not a part of it at that time, was to make a difference in the external world. And what I've learned as an evolutionist, a conscious evolutionist in the teachings of New Thought and metaphysics and science of mind, I like to call it the Psi-O-Mind, is that making a difference must start within. And it's not about trying to control that which is within us. It's about doing everything in our power to eliminate anything that's not in alignment with that thing itself and letting it guide us into its next expression. And so I'm happy to acknowledge each and every one of you for being here today. If you want to say a big hello to each other, feel free to do that right now. And then we will continue. But know that as you hug or high five or say hello, you're indeed honoring within the other individuals that power, that oneness, the thing itself, Ernie likes to call it, that is within us, pulsating at all times to bring more of itself to us and through us. You know, the divine is always within us, ready to work through us. What we like to call in English, miracles, or a divine unfolding, or just that next highest idea. Jason and Heather are here with us this morning as a result of that. I've known these individuals for a long time. We've not been in each other's sphere of life in quite a while. I hired Jason for God knows how many years to DJ at the teen camps, always doing a beautiful and wonderful job. And our musician that was scheduled for this morning, Jason Goldstein, got called to go on tour with, I can't remember the musician's name, I just went blank, but it was a name that was worthy of him getting on the plane and going, right? And so I reached out to my musical family and said, hey, any suggestions? And two of our very esteemed, loved musicians, the one and only Jamie Lula and Ray Davis, both said, without missing a beat, Heather. And so Heather came, and at the moment I didn't connect the dots that Heather was Heather and Jason. And then when that dot got connected, I got even more tingly in my heart. And so you're in for a wonderful treat this morning. And so I invite you all to open up and just be powerful within yourself as you receive the gift and the blessing of what they're here to share with us. I know for each of you, just being in your presence and in conversation, that this is your ministry, right? And so please receive the gift that they have for us. We're going to move right now into the ritual that we do almost every Sunday in some version of it, and it's called Lighting the Flames of Faith. I specifically wanted to do this ritual today, the Flames of Faith, honoring the different religions of the world, because I find that, I'll speak personally, that every single day I feel that I'm being invited by Spirit to honor the diversity of life itself. I was just speaking with my dear friend Ann. I saw the Keith Haring exhibit this week at the Broad, and give yourself the gift to see that if not. And what it spoke to me is this yearning within the human soul to honor the oneness of life and however life is being expressed, and to take care of each other to the best of our ability. Today, we're lighting these candles for that purpose. And then instead of singing Calling in the Light, Heather's going to sing a beautiful song called Beloved. So I invite you to take a deep breath in and hear these words as if it is the first time you've heard the words of this tradition. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we, here in our philosophy, faith, and way of life, call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, and we honor that here today. In a moment, I'll light this candle, and we do so for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium. As well, we light it for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. As well, we light it for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. And as we sit in Congregation Kolami, a synagogue, a temple, we honor it as well as we light it for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. And let's just take a moment and honor this particular community who's going through such transition and transformation as their senior rabbi and junior rabbi have now gone on to new expressions professionally. Their interim rabbi with their board is upstairs meeting right now, visioning for what their future is to be. And so we include that in our candle lighting today, as well as we light it for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion, and open our heart really wide as we light it for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love, and to expand on that, all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling, and for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. And we light it for all forms of new thought, that which we practice here today, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We also call this candle now the healing candle. I invite us to silently put into the flame the names of anyone, which may include ourselves, or anything that we wish to have the experience of the healing flames of God's eternal love. Feeling this energy of healing, I let Heather serenade us with the gift of this beautiful song, Beloved.
There was a time when I was reaching for you. I now have realized your love that brought me to. Before my breath, I heard you singing over me, that I the thought of you was cradled in this love for me. Beloved, you're my mind. Beloved, touch my soul. Beloved, now you have all of my heart. Everlasting love, where I am still and know. Everlasting love, I'm following you home. Everlasting love, where I am swallowing you whole. For now this garden as it comes into full bloom, and every angel you've appointed to rescue, oh, join in the song and dance, caught up in this love, releasing heaven here and now. We hear you call. Beloved, you're my touch my soul. Beloved, now you have all of my heart. Everlasting love, where I am still and know. Everlasting love, I'm following you home. Everlasting love, everlasting love, everlasting love that's swallowing me whole. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth.
And so it is. Beautiful. Everlasting love. It's what we all, at a human level, long to experience. While we continue to tap into a spiritual awakening, you know, our vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. On that journey of spiritual awakening, we realize there's nothing to long for. It's something to let be. It's already there within us. The song that Jason and Heather are going to do now for us is a song that, as we talked about earlier, the three of us, it's called Om Namah Shivaya. And many of you may know that as a chant. It's a Sanskrit chant. And I was sharing with them, I use it oftentimes in my counseling practice when clients are having a hard time integrating their wild human energy with their divine energy. Personally, I walk that path often. And I'll play it, and it's a chant that you can watch their aura really reintegrate itself. And so I invite you to listen to this, not as it's the first time that you've heard this chant, but believe that somewhere deep in your ancestral soul and spiritual DNA, every note that's sung, every vocal that's chanted is tapping into your anthology, your history, and let that rise up through your soul and be carried on this journey. It's not somber the whole time, know that. You're going to be rocking in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Jason and Heather.
You want to share a little bit about it, babe? No? Okay, all right. One power, breathing our every breath, seen and unseen life, seamless in birth and death. I can release now, all but for love remains, free in the I am, safe in the arms of grace. I humbly bow to you, this light inside.
Namaste, namaste.
Love divine, you are our only God.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
You sing it with us?
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. One power,
Breathing our every breath.
take a breath right here.
Seen and unseen life, seamless in birth and death, and I can release now.
Just let it go.
All but for love remains.
Only
Free in
love.
the I
Shivaya, Om Namah 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 Shivaya.
Oh, we humbly bow to you this last
Namaste, Namaste.
love divine, you are our only guide.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
One more time.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Now we're gonna just sing Om. Take a deep breath on that.
Yes. Oh, so beautiful. And thank you for the blending of that Sanskrit chant with your own personal, unique style. It's touched my soul. And Om is considered, certainly in the Hindu philosophy, to be the purest sound of energy. That is, it is believed that Om connects one to the divine in the most purest way possible. In just a few weeks, our organization, our parent organization, the Centers for Spiritual Living, will make their pilgrimage to Asilomar, a beautiful retreat center of craftsman style that's designed by the famed architect Julia Morgan in the Pacific Grove, Monterey, Carmel area. For many, many, many years, decades actually, this annual retreat is actually what it is now only taking place on the grounds for our organization every 10 years or so. Has anyone in the room ever been to Asilomar and to that pilgrimage, if you will? I call it a pilgrimage because it's a gathering of people that are like-minded individuals in our teaching, from religious science or science of mind, or like to call it the Psi-O mind, that come together to honor the teaching, to be with like-minded people, to listen to various presentations of this teaching and music, and it's a great familial experience. And before I continue, I want to go on record saying we're not a cult. It's a sacred experience because this space is considered a sacred, holy gathering spot for our teaching, and many others, but specifically for our teaching. It represents a physical coming home of being in community. For so many years, certainly in the early part of the 20th century and early to the mid part of the 20th century, the individuals that were like-minded in the way that our teaching provides us was quite unique in its way, even though it was considered a new thought teaching, and there were many different types of teaching like this. It obviously wasn't as big as Christianity or Hindu or any of these large spiritual-based / religious communities. It was very important to Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder and creator of religious science, to be there when he was alive, and he gave what was known as his last sermon there, called the Sermon by the Sea. I think it's appropriate that we hear that sermon today, not by Ernie, and I'm not going to channel him, even though there are those that do. I've witnessed it. It is beyond creepy and might make you think that we are a cult, but we're not a cult. Our theme for the month of July is freedom. I think it's fitting and appropriate for me to share this Sermon by the Sea today, to encourage each and every one of us to become more acutely aware of the choices that we are making in our lives, and to be clear and decisive on how we decide to be the life of the divine on this planet. In his final Sermon by the Sea, given in 1959 at Asilomar, Dr. Holmes shared his vision of the outcome of global well-being, the human species, and Earth transformed by the consciousness that he had articulated as the science of mind. Now, the science of mind, for those of you that may not know and those that do, to remind you, Dr. Holmes for many years went and studied the great teachings and philosophies and spiritual philosophies of the world and took what he thought were the best of those and put them into what is believed from his mindset and many others, a very concise approach to living life, to showing up in life from a divine perspective. One might argue, especially since we know we have a book editor in the room in the 21st century, that concise may not be how you would describe it, right? But it's powerful nonetheless. Would you agree, Wendy? It's not always concise, the science of mind, right? But powerful nonetheless. And if one has the ability to take this information and garner it and use it in a way to make a difference on this planet or find spiritual awakening, that is the intent behind it. Dr. Holmes tells us in general, one of his quotes that I love, and I shared it last week, is that life is a blackboard upon which we consciously or unconsciously write the messages which govern us. Today I'm going to share this Sermon by the Sea for us to take it in as inspiration, for introspection, for the opportunity to create a new perspective on how things have changed in our lives and life itself, as well as how they seemingly stay the same, and to offer us each a recommitment to our personal awakening in life. That is the essence of what this philosophy, faith, and way of life is all about, which is to open up to a new way of thinking, being, and believing, and experience that, and then open up to a new way of thinking and being and experiencing that new way, and then open up. And it goes on and on and on. The final sermon, Sermon by the Sea, Dr. Holmes. Having had the privilege of starting religious science, I would wish, will, and desire above all things else that the simplicity and purity of our teaching could never be violated. There is a purpose of simplicity, a consciousness of unity, a straight line thinking in our philosophy that has never appeared before in the world outside of the teachings of men like Jesus and Emerson. There was nothing obscure in the teaching of Jesus. He just said it was the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Why don't you take it? He said that there is nothing but God. Why don't you believe it? He was the last of the great Jewish prophets, the greatest line of emotional prophets the world has ever known. We also find a great intellectualism in Emerson, who never contradicted himself. He gave us the most simple statement of intellectual, spiritual perception, probably, that has ever been put into print. As that of Jesus, it was most simple, direct, meaningful, and feelingful. We inherit this. It would be my desire that simplicity and purity and directness and straight thinking should never depart from the techniques of our practitioners or instructions of our teachers or understanding of our lay people. It's the most direct impartation of divine wisdom that has ever come to the world because it incorporates the precepts of Jesus and Emerson and Buddha and all the rest of the wise. And I would desire that in our teaching, there should never be any arrogance, for it always indicates spiritual immaturity to me. Others will arise who will know more than we do. They won't be better or worse. They will be different and know more than we do. Evolution is forward. I would wish that we should not build, out of the body of our simplicity and grandeur and beauty, other creeds loaded with superstition, a fear of the unknown, and a dread of the unseen. We've discovered a pearl of great price. We've discovered the rarest gem that has ever found setting in the intellect of the human race. Complete simplicity, complete directness, a freedom from fear and superstition about the unknown and about God. And we've rediscovered that which the great, the good, and the wise have sung about and thought about. The imprisoned splendor within ourselves, within each other, and have direct contact with it. Let's just take in that statement alone. We've rediscovered the great, the good, and the wise have sung about it and thought about the imprisoned splendor within ourselves and within each other, and have direct contact with it. Whether we call it the Christ in us, or the Buddha, or Atman, or just the Son of God, the living Spirit, makes no difference. You and I are witness to the divine fact, and we've discovered an authority beyond our minds, even though our minds utilize it. Out of this, we have prepared ourselves. I think, I hope, I pray, and I believe. Find me one person. Find me one person, he says, who is for something and against nothing, who is redeemed enough not to condemn others out of the burden of his soul, and I will find another Savior, another Jesus, and an exalted human being. Find me one person. Find me one person who no longer has any fear of the universe or of God or of man or of anything else, and you will have brought to me someone in whose presence we may sit, and fear shall vanish as clouds before the sunlight. Find me someone. Find me someone who has redeemed his soul, and he shall become my redeemer. Find me someone who has given all that he has in love, without morbidity, and I will have found the lover of my soul. Is this not true? Is not this true, he says. Why? Because he will have revealed to me the nature of God and proved to me the possibility of all human souls. This, Holmes says, this is what religious science stands for. It's not a new dogmatism. It's not a new authority generated from a new alleged revelation of the God who never revealed anything to anybody as such, else he could not have revealed all things to all people. There is no special dispensation of providence, but there is a specialized dispensation when the great and good and wise and just have known, even though they knew it intuitively. Find me one person. Find me one person who can get his own littleness out of the way, and he shall reveal to me the immeasurable magnitude of the universe in which I live. Find me one person. Find me one person who knows how to talk to God, really, and I shall walk with him through the woods, and everything that seems inanimate will respond. The leaves of the trees will clap their hands, the grass will grow soft under him. Find me one person. Find me one person who communes with cause and effect And in the evening star will sing to him, and the darkness will turn to light. Through him, as the woman who touched the hem of the garment of Christ was healed, shall I be healed of loneliness forever. Find me someone. Find me someone who is no longer sad, whose memory has been redeemed from morbidity, and I shall bear and hear laughter. Find me someone whose song is really celestial, because it's the outburst of the cosmic urge to sing, and I shall hear the music of the spheres. Find me one person. Find me one person who no longer doubts, no longer wavers, but one who with a proclamation of superiority says, "Look at me, I have arrived." I will not listen to that. Only that which reveals me to myself can be a message to me. Only that which gives me back to myself can save me. Only that which leads me to the God within myself can reveal God. And only that person can do it to whom the vision has come through their own efforts, through the gift of the divine. Of course, the grace of God abounds by divine givingness. God, the power, remember, has forever hung himself upon the cross of men's indifference. God has forever, but without suffering, given himself, but we have not received the gift. Find me one person. Find me one person who has so completely divorced from himself all arrogance, and you will have discovered for me an open pathway to the kingdom of God here and now. Up until now, the search has been in far-off corners of the earth, and we have knelt upon a prayer rug and been wafted away in our morbid and fearful imagination over ethers of nothingness to places that we have no existence, the temples of our unbelief. And we've come back empty. What went ye out into the wilderness for to see? Find me somebody. Find me somebody who's detached his emotional and psychological ego from the real self without having to deny the place it plays in the scheme of things, and without slaying any part of himself, because the transcendence is there also. And I will have discovered the ineffable in this individual and a direct pathway for the communion of my own soul. We've come to Asilomar, spent this wonderful week together in love for each other and adoration for the God we believe in. Many wonderful things have happened that would seem miracles if we didn't know about them. And now we meet for this fond farewell after the spiritual bath of peace, the baptism of the Spirit, not through me, but you to me, and I to you, through each other. The revelation of the self to the self. We go back into the highways and byways of life with something so great that never again will anything be quite the same. A little more light shall come, a little greater glory added to the glory that we already possess, a deeper consciousness, a higher aspiration, a broader certainty of the mind. You are religious scientists. I am not. You are religious science, he said. I am not. I'm only the one who put something together. I don't even take myself seriously, but I take what I am doing seriously. You are religious science. Our ministers, our teachers, our practitioners, our lay people. You find me 1,000 people in the world who know what religious science is and use it and live it as it is, and I'll myself live to see a new world. a new heaven and a new earth here today. There's a cosmic power wrapped up in a cosmic consciousness and purposelessness that is equal to the vision which releases it. What I'm saying is this. There's a law that backs up the vision, and the law is immutable. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. There is a power transcendent beyond our needs, our little wants. Demonstrating a dime is good if one needs it, or healing oneself of a pain is certainly good if one has it. But beyond that, at the real feast of the tabernacle of the Almighty, in the temple of the living God, in the banquet hall of heaven, there is something beyond anything that you and I have touched. Find 1,000 people who know that and use it, and the world will no longer be famished. How important is it that each one of us, in their simple way, shall live from God to God to God, with God, in God, and to and as each other. That's why we're here. And we're taking back with us, I trust, a vision and an inspiration, something beyond a hope and a longing, that the living Spirit shall through us walk anew into its own creation. And a new glory. A new glory comes with this new dawn. Right? Imagine hearing those words on the beach in Pacific Grove, California in 1959. And a new glory comes with a new dawn. That new dawn is right now. Not simply because I've read the words of Ernest Holmes, and not simply because Ernest Holmes spoke those words, because it touches each and every one of us in a space within us where we know that power that we define and use the word G-O-D as to describe it. The new dawn is a call to action for each and every one of us to remember that this teaching that we love and participate in, which may or may not be the only teaching and philosophy that we tune into, is at its very core one of simplicity, of purity, of directness, of meaningful. We believe is a direct line to the divine. He used the words, I think, I hope, I pray, I believe. Those are the core components of our teaching, that we think. The word hope was banished from this teaching in the latter part of the 20th century. Let's bring it back, not in the sense of longing for something, but looking at it through the lens of the origin of its word, which is to align with the Christ consciousness within. I pray, meaning that I use my mind to open up and declare that I shall reveal that very thing that is within me, and as I do so, I have the opportunity and the ability to honor it within you, so that I may then be able to receive it from you. And the cycle goes on and on and on, which then leads us to the development of our beliefs. Some things that have not changed in our teaching is that consciousness is what it's all about. We get to experience our consciousness, the totality of what we think and believe and how we show up in life and act and react and interact with the very thing itself, because it's impersonal. And how do we know what's going on in the totality of our being? We look before us to see what's in our world. The very core of this teaching is, if you don't like what's going on in your world, change your thinking. It's very simple and yet incredibly complex. But today, July 9th, we're each individually and collectively called. We're called to the tenets of the Sermon by the sea. Today's the day that we're called to turn inward and feel the presence of God. And then to know with every fiber of our being that as we stand and walk out the doors of this holy, sacred space, it doesn't stay here. It goes with us. It goes with us everywhere we go, for it always has. And in our teaching and philosophy, it always will. Today's the day to think anew. The great Joseph Campbell tells us that what each must seek in their life never was on land or sea. It's something out of their own unique potentiality for experience, something that's never been and never could have been experienced by anyone else. Today, I invite each one of us to tune into that experience of the divine as individually as possible. And to remember that, yes, it is important to us to change our thinking. But not just to change our thinking so that our thinking has changed, but be willing to change our thinking to believe that this power that is greater than us, that is within us, will guide us, will lead us, will carry us forward, will protect us, will reveal just exactly what it already is within us if we can indeed get our little nothingness out of the way. The great David Hawkins tells us that the mind in and of itself cannot discern appearance from essence, and thus the devotee learns to turn a deaf ear to thinkingness and focuses instead on the knowingness of wisdom from within, as revealed by the great teachers over long periods of history and reaffirmed as the presence of self. Today, I affirm for each and every one of us that as we go about the business of sharing our light in the world, that we are one of those people that Ernie says, find me one of. And wherever he may be, and wherever his light may be shining, in a celestial environment, he sees your light. He goes, there's one of them. There's one of them. There's one of them. There's one of them. There's one of them who's had the courage today to broaden and open their heart and live life anew. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you. Heather's going to come back and sing a song that I believe the lyrics reinforces the message, to know that as we each choose to live anew and renewed, to know that we are indeed safe. Any comments you want to make on the song?
Well, first of all, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm a little speechless, to be honest. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
You carried that with such love and potency. I know we all feel it. You know, it's a tendency, I think, in the world that we're living in right now, that we get pulled, we come back to that safe, centered place where we know that truth. And then we walk out our door and there's everything in the world, whether it's on the media or people that are, you know, just around us. There's so much temptation of fear. And our job is to, whatever we can do to carve out that time where we give it the space to remember that truth. That is the most important thing any of us can do. And back several years ago, in a course of a year, I lost my mom and dad. And there is a place inside of each one of us that is a mother and a father. We long for the divine mother and father's comfort in each one of us. And this song really presences that. You know, there's a place that it's like we're little kids that just reaching out for that love of the Spirit to envelop us whatever it is that we're going through. There's nothing else that satisfies that. And so that's where this song comes from. I am safe, I am loved, I am here, and my heart is open when I remember that the mother, father inside of each one of us is always there, guiding, guarding, providing. Come like a child, come to the Father, come like a child, you sons and daughters. You don't have to do it by yourself, and only fear to guide you when you trust in something else. You don't have to make it on your own. Come to me, I'll lead you home. I am safe, I am loved, I am here, and my heart is open, and I am safe, and I am loved, I am here, and my heart is open. Come like a child, come to the mother, come rest your heart, you sons and daughters. You don't have to do it by yourself, and every fear will bind you when you trust in something else. You don't have to make it on your own. Come to me, I am your home. I am safe, I am loved, I am here, and my heart is open. I am safe, and I am loved, I am here, and my heart is open. We are safe, and we are loved. We are here, and our hearts are open. Oh, we are safe, we are loved. We are here. May your hearts be open. So open the eyes of my heart, love. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you, and I want to see you. Oh, open the eyes of my heart, love. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you, and I want to see you. To see you high and lifted up, shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing,
Wow, so beautiful. I see, you said, see with the eyes of my heart, right, which is the opportunity to give. And right now we have the opportunity to support our community financially, and we appreciate it as you do. We live in an abundant universe, and we have the opportunity to give. As Dr. David Walker used to say, old school thinking was give until it hurts. He says, no, give until it feels good. And so I invite each of us to give today in a way that feels good, whether you're online or in person. Olivia will pass around the basket if anyone would like to do that in person. Also know that you can go online to our website, CSL-LA.org. There's a donate button as well as our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And let's know that if we're in a place today to give, we are indeed blessed. Heather's going to sing a song that speaks of that blessing while we give.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
Feel free to sing along.
I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful, and I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful, and I am so blessed. I am so grateful, and I am so blessed.
We are indeed so incredibly blessed in life. I hope that we each know that as we navigate the day-to-day, moment-by-moment experiences of life. Blessings are a result of being conscious of the good that exists in our life. I'm exceedingly conscious and aware of the good that exists in my life right now, which is by means of each one of you that I can look out into and see your eyes, and those online see your eyes, and know that those that watch a later date see their eyes, and which brings up more gratitude for me and makes me even more acutely aware how grateful I am that Heather Powers and Jason Powers exist. And thank you for shining your light on this planet in the way that you do, and for sharing your blessings with us today. Thank you so very much for that. A big thank you to Travis Smith, who is in the back, not only taking care of us in an audio way, but giving me great cues to stay in the camera blocks that I keep walking out of. So thank you for that, Travis Smith. A big thank you to Robert Hensley, who is our our social media dude and helps us with administrative assistant, who is, I think, in Pennsylvania right now, but thank God for the technology that we can do all of this remotely. A big thank you to all that has ever been a part of the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, and that's a part of who we are today and a part of who we are as we grow and evolve and express who and what we are. So deeply honored to see some of you today, knowing it's the first time you've been out and about, Jim Wasson, in a long time. So happy that you're here and that your light is being shined right here and now. If you'd like to know more about us, you can find out through our website, CSL-LA.org, our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. We've just relaunched that app. It's fantastic in all of its simplicity, following the leads of Ernest Holmes' simplicity and directness, and it is there. We have some snacks for you outside if you'd like to chew some of those, and I believe water and coffee. Please avail yourself of that afterwards. Our next in-person service is in August. It's the second Sunday of August. What that date is, you'll find out when you get our e-newsletter tomorrow or go online. I don't have it on the tip of my tongue. And without further ado, we shall close. And Jason and Heather is going to take us out on a song. But before we do, I invite you to close your eyes Take a deep breath in. And let's trust to know that we are in the perfect place as the perfection of God in this very moment. Right here and right now, the power and the presence of the divine is expressing itself fully by means of each one of us. That is truth. And so I affirm for each of us that we say yes to the calling today, to shine our light, to be the one, to honor the divinity within us, to live with less fear, to move forward in a state of mind from a higher way of thinking, and to honor the light that is within. And so as I extinguish the flame here, it awakens within each one of you. You see it in your mind's eye, and you consciously use it as you move forward in life, step by step, by step, by step, leaving an imprint on the sacred Mother Earth that we live in as a physical reminder. But we go beyond the physical and make sure that we leave an imprint on each other's heart. Because in truth, it's not each other's heart. There's only one heart.
Yes. Oh, one power.
One power.
Breathing or every breath.
Take a breath right here.
Seen and unseen life. Seamless in birth and death. I can release
Just
now.
let it go.
All but for love remains.
Only love.
Free in the I am. Safe in the arms of grace. I humbly bow to you, this light inside.
Namaste, namaste.
Love divine, you are my only guide. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Oh, will you guys stand with us? Stand up. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Om. Much love to you.
Namaste.
Peace and blessings. Peace out. Have a great Sunday, everyone. Thank you.
Peace out.